Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this can be another classic movie review for you guys. And this time, I'm going to be reviewing to probably the most disturbing, what has been called the most disturbing movie of all time. And the question is it really that disturbing? In my opinion, yes, it is really disturbing. And that is the when was this movie? Let's see, when was this made?
1971.
Thank you. 1971, psychological thriller classic, A Clockwork Orange. Now, I don't want to say I was looking forward to this movie, because I feel like that sounds weird if I was looking forward to it. I really wanted to see it, because I heard it has been called the most disturbing movie of all time, you know, by Watch Mojo and various sources like that, and because of that, I was really looking forward to it. So, of course, you know, I got that 3-pack Stanley Kubrick collection, and A Clockwork Orange was included, and actually, out of those 3 movies, A Clockwork Orange was the one I wanted to see the most, because I heard it was so disturbing, and I really, really wanted to see it. And I kept saying to myself, no, I'm not going to watch it, I'm not going to watch it, I'm not in the mood to watch it. I finally watched it, and what do I think of A Clockwork Orange? A Clockwork Orange is a masterpiece. It is fantastic. This is by far one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so, so good. It's like, I know I said The Shining was good, but this is 10 times better than The Shining. I really love this movie. It's a great movie, and it's very hard to watch, but I definitely recommend you guys check it out, because it's very good. Now, the plot of A Clockwork Orange is a little hard to kind of talk about, because there's a couple things going on. Basically, the main character is Alex, and he kind of has this group of friends called, who he calls his droogs, and they like to go to milk bars to get special milk, which is basically milk with drugs, and the milk with the drugs makes them more violent, and they go out and have, like, the craziest violent nights. They like to, you know, these are the sort of things he likes to do. He likes to rape women, he likes to listen to Beethoven music, and he likes, you know, very violent acts like that, and that's sort of the thing he does. Well, one day, he's in the middle of one of these violent acts, and he actually ends up getting caught by the police, who want to give him basically, and, you know, they basically want to give him some sort of special treatment. By the way, this movie takes place in futuristic Britain, I forgot to say. But they want to give him basically special treatment, and basically, you know, the special treatment is going to cure him to make him less violent, and basically, that's what the movie's about. If I go into any further detail about the movie, I'm going to get into spoiler territory, so that's pretty much what the plot of A Clockwork Orange is about in a nutshell. It's very hard to explain, really. It really is one of the hardest movies to explain, and I am going to tell you guys, I will analyze this movie for you, but it's the hardest movie I'm probably ever going to analyze, because it's really hard to analyze. I'm not kidding. It's really hard to analyze, guys. I'm going to try the best I can to analyze it, but we'll see how that works. But let's just get to the acting. The acting is phenomenal. I have no problem. The acting is perfect in this movie. Malcolm McDowell was perfectly casted as Alex. Like, he has charm to the role. I mean, it sounds disturbing, but he has, like, this charm to the role, and you really are interested in his character. And the other really cool thing is, the second half of the movie, you actually feel bad for his character. And his character is very interesting, because you don't know if you want to root for his character, or if you are like, but at the same time, you're like, why am I rooting for this character? It's, like, really cool, actually, the emotion you feel while watching it. It's like, why am I rooting for him, yet because he's done all this violent shit, why am I rooting for him? It makes perfect, you know, it was definitely very interesting, you know, and I was kind of questioning myself the whole time. Why am I rooting for him? Why do I feel bad for him? Why do I feel sorry for him when this is happening to him? And I didn't understand why, but you know what? It definitely is very interesting, you know, the way that was portrayed. Definitely, I really like the way that was portrayed, because it was shown very, very well. Definitely. Patrick McGee, I believe he was the one that played, I need to get to the casting here. Okay, Patrick McGee, he played Mr. Alexander. He is actually a very important character. He has to do with the infamous Sing in the Rain scene, which, oh my god, that was traumatizing. Really, guys, the Sing in the Rain scene has been called the most disturbing scene in this movie, and I don't think it's the most disturbing scene, personally. I'll get to what I think the most disturbing scene is, you know, because that'll be spoilers. but it definitely is up there. I will say this. I will never look at Singing in the Rain the same way again. I still love the movie. I can watch the movie, but the song just is extremely creepy now. The song's really creepy now, and yeah, definitely that. And actually, that scene was improv. When they sang Singing in the Rain, basically Stanley Kubrick just said, "Do whatever you want," and I always am wondering, why would they pick Singing in the Rain out of everything? Like, why specifically Sing in the Rain? I understand why, that they wanted to do something that was completely innocent while they were raping, that girl. While he was raping that girl, he was singing it, but it was actually a genius idea because it just fits the movie so well. It's a perfect combination of terror and, like, what they think is happiness at the same time, and it was definitely really cool to watch, and I really liked that about the movie, definitely. The ones that played as Druids, I don't know who they, Warren Clark, who else played as Druids, a couple of people played as Druids. They were really good as well. Everyone was very good in the movie. Okay, that's it for the acting. Everyone was very, very good in the movie, and I thought they were all definitely very well, casted. Everyone was very well casted. The directing. This director of this movie is Stanley Kubrick, and wow, I have never seen, more weird directing. Definitely he is a director to be recognized, because this movie, definitely he is one of my favorite directors now, because he directed this movie so well. He gave you that creepy feeling throughout the whole movie. He gave you that feeling of uneasiness throughout the whole movie. He gave you that feeling of, I don't know how to feel about this movie. That's one of the great things that Stanley Kubrick does. He is not a director that just makes you, look at nice sets. I mean, Martin Scorsese is still my favorite director. But the thing about Stanley Kubrick is he's a director that makes you feel something. He makes you feel something that's uneasy. He makes you feel uneasy about something, and that's what's actually scary about A Clockwork Orange. The movie itself is not scary. What's scary about it is the feeling you get while watching it. It's like, why am I rooting for him? Again, I found that definitely very, very interesting, the way that worked. And this is based on a book which, once again, Stanley Kubrick completely destroyed. He just completely destroyed the story, and the author, of course, was pissed. The difference was that the author did not make another version of A Clockwork Orange. Let's hope nobody ever does that, because this movie should never be remade, okay? This is not a movie that needs to be remade. If this movie was remade, I would be doing just such a huge rant on it. The cinematography in this movie is gorgeous. The cinematography is perfect in this movie. Honestly, I don't want to say it's gorgeous cinematography. It's haunting to look at. There are a lot of stuff in this movie that's haunting to look at. And that's what's so good about the cinematography. The cinematography is so haunting to look at, and that's one of the best parts of this movie by far. The editing is perfect. This movie is 136 minutes long, and it goes by like that. It's great that it goes by like that. I think that's awesome that it goes by like that, and that's definitely one of the best things about this movie, is the editing. The editing is so good, so I have no problems with this movie, really. Now let's get to spoilers/analysis. This movie is extremely hard to analyze. I think I can kind of analyze it, though. If you guys have not seen A Clockwork Orange, do not watch the rest of this review. By the way, before I get to that, why do some people call this movie boring? Okay, I can understand the first few minutes. The first few minutes of this movie, I have to admit, I was not as into it. When he was with his Druids, I'm like, this movie's kind of overrated. But after he was taken in through treatment, no siree. It got awesome after that. Now let's talk about, not really awesome, that's the wrong word to use. Not really awesome, but it got really good after that. Basically, let's get to the spoilers. Alright, so as we know, when he is taken into treatment, that is when the crazy shit starts. When he was watching those videos, I kept wondering, is he actually faking the treatment, or is he actually getting cured? Is he faking it, or is he getting cured? I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then, at the halfway point of the movie, where, he actually got released from the treatment, I was surprised, because I was like, okay, is he gonna start more violent acts now? Did he just fake the whole thing? I didn't know what to think there, because I was just like, is he serious about this, or is he actually faking it? I didn't know how to feel about that, definitely. And then when he got back and we found out that his parents, rented out his room, I felt so bad for him. The scene I actually felt bad for him in was when he was getting waterboarded, especially by the big twist when we find out his droogs have actually become police officers. That was a great twist, and that was probably one of the best twists of the movie by far. I love that twist. I thought that was fantastic, and I really loved that about the twist, definitely. I thought that was great. The other thing that I thought was definitely very haunting about this movie was the symbolism with Beethoven's Ninth. Of course, we know that the only time he feels, like, really uneasy and feels in, like, a lot of pain is when he hears Beethoven's Ninth, because it makes him recall back to violent times. And, you know, when he committed suicide, I thought he was gonna die. I really did. And I did not expect Mr. Alexander to play as big as a role in the movie as he did. And I thought that was great, that the way they had him play such a big role in the second half of the movie. The movie kind of has 3 acts, in my opinion. First act has to do with the droogs. Second half is the treatment. The third half is after the treatment. And honestly, the third half is probably the best part of this movie, in my opinion. I thought the third half was probably the best part. After the third half, I was really into it after that. And then when we found out that he basically raped Mr. Alexander's wife to death, I was kind of like, you know what, he kind of deserves it, but at the same time, I was kind of upset at the ending. We're going to get to an analysis in a second. But the ending, of course, you know, he listens to Beethoven's Ninth, and he seems like he's cured and everything. He gets an opportunity for a job, and he basically becomes like this huge celebrity because there are all these cameras and everything. And basically, you know, we see in his head, he's having sex with a woman in the snow, and that's basically how the movie ends. He's like, well, I was cured. I think what that's kind of trying to show is that he's cured, but he still thinks about it, and he's not all the way cured, but he pretty much is, he's not going to do anything violent again, but he still does think about it, which, I mean, you can't blame him. He's been doing this basically most of his life, really. I kind of, you know, the other thing, of course, we have to talk about is, I kind of read this somewhere, that basically the movie's not really about how Alex deals with it, it's more of how the town deals with Alex, and I kind of agree. The town is kind of a villain in the third half of the movie, because Alex is, you know, cured, and the town doesn't believe him, and he basically gets the same treatment he did to other people, and you don't know how to feel about that. The other big thing is that, now I've heard this from numerous amount of people, and I definitely agree with this theory, that Alex is actually a corrupted version of Jesus Christ. I really agree with that, because if you think about it, it definitely does make sense. Think about it. Jesus, of course, even if you're not religious, I'm sure you guys know the story of Jesus. I personally am religious, but if you guys don't know the story of Jesus, then yeah, if you guys don't know, basically, you know, Jesus had his Romans and everything, but eventually his Romans betrayed him, just like Alex and the Druids betrayed him, and, you know, Jesus' punishment was that he was crucified, and Alex's punishment was that he was basically forced to go to treatment, and, you know, basically had that special treatment done to him, and, you know, he was even tortured. He was betrayed by the people who were once his friends, and that's very much the same connections, and I definitely think it's a very interesting connection. I don't know if that was the intention, but that's just what people sort of think of, and it's definitely very interesting the way, you know, you can kind of relate something so, like, evil to religion. I think that's so cool, actually, the way you can, like, relate that. I think it definitely is really cool. Now, the other thing I have heard is some people have these different beliefs, and one of the beliefs is that Alex is never cured. And I think that is complete bullshit. I really do, because the thing is, I think that is bullshit, because we can clearly tell at the end of the movie that Alex is cured, because when he is shown all those drawings, and basically, you know, the doctor or whatever asked him, what do you think of this drawing, and he basically, you know, says what anyone would think, then we know he's pretty much cured. But, you know, you do have to kind of think, is he faking it? Or the movie doesn't really give you answers. That's one of the things I like, is that this is not a movie that gives you answers. You kind of have to come up with your own answers. And I think that's really cool, actually, that the movie doesn't really give you a definitive answer on whether he has changed or whether he is still kind of the same way he is, and he's kind of just faking it. You know, you don't really know, and I think that's really cool that the movie doesn't really give you an answer to that. That definitely is very, very good, and I really like that about the movie. Now, the only other thing to talk about is this movie the most disturbing movie of all time? I'd like to say yes, but I think it's, for me, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not as disturbing as everyone says, but at the same time, it is very disturbing. It's hard to say, because, like, there are some scenes that are really disturbing, yes. The most disturbing scene, in my opinion, by the way, was when he got waterboarded. That was the most disturbing scene. That and the ending was like, what? I did not understand the ending at all. That was so weird. You know, the first 20 minutes, yes, I would say it's really disturbing, but after that, you know, the treatment scenes and everything, the movie didn't seem to be as disturbing as I thought it would be, and I kind of like that about the movie, because the thing is, if you call the movie the most disturbing movie ever, the movie has a big potential to be, the movie has a lot of, the movie has that, where everyone thinks, oh, this is the most disturbing movie ever. It could disappoint some people, and I know why some people call this movie boring, because they think it's supposed to be so disturbing. Do not go into this movie thinking it's the most disturbing movie ever, because it's really not. It's a really good movie, and if you can handle it, it's not that disturbing. It really is. It's disturbing, don't get me wrong, it is very disturbing, but it's not the most disturbing movie ever. It's really not, and I think that's actually a pretty good thing, because it definitely is a very good movie, and I like that it's not the most disturbing movie ever, because I like the movie, and if it was the most disturbing movie ever, I probably would have turned it off, because it would have been too disturbing for me to talk about. But that's basically it for my review of Clockwork Orange. Let me know what you guys saw of this movie. Overall, I really love this movie. I think this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, and definitely probably my favorite of the classic movies I reviewed for you guys. It really is. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will either be for another classic movie review or for my review of Switched at Birth. I don't know which one yet, so I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye. One other quick thing, guys. This movie did have a lot of controversy when it first came out. It's actually credited as the most controversial movie of all time. And yes, I definitely do agree with that. For a movie that was made in 1971, I do agree with that. But if you think about it, 1971 was the year that everything was sort of changing. So 70s was actually the perfect year for this movie to come out, because everyone, was questioning about it. Oh, when somebody says, oh, the movie's so controversial, you want to go see it. And that's why this movie is so good, because, everyone really wanted to see it, and because of that, that's why it's a classic. By the way, I don't know about awards for this movie. I don't know what awards it got. I believe it did get a few awards. I forgot to talk about that. I don't know. Oh, it did get quite a few awards. It got, Stanley Kubrick was nominated for a couple things. It didn't win anything, though, unfortunately, which is, kind of sad, but, yeah, so that's the one last thing I had to say. I kind of forgot to say that. My friend just reminded me. Thank you, Caden, but, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. See you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.